Finally, it looks like the Arctic blast may have come to an end. Well, we got one more night of it tonight. This being Monday. I think it's the 26th of December. It's hard to tell. I'm wore out. The things we have to do in the deep south to keep our water from freezing. Yep, and then sometimes with all your efforts, water dripping and everything else, there's some things that still just happen. But it's 45 today. The high was supposed to be 44, so I'm a little grateful. It's a little bit warmer. We got a light breeze. Yeah, the kitties all made it, and they're all fine too. They surely are. But I thought we'd take a walk and we'd talk. And maybe in the comments below the video, wherever you may be in America and around the world that has also experienced this, you let me know how you're doing. Did you keep your power on? Were you able to stay warm? Did your water not freeze? And such of that. Now I know up where I still have family up around Erie County in Buffalo, New York, they got slammed, buried. I think last time I looked, over 44 inches of snow, winds gusted up to 69 miles per hour. Some say it, and of course their governor said it was the worst blizzard ever in Buffalo's recorded history. Well, there you are, friends and family. And I thought I'd come on today and let you know. Yep, so far we've survived. And for all intents and purposes, finally we're above freezing. The winds have calmed. That was something that really made it challenging through all this. It was just not the temperatures, but it was also the wind. For several days now, we've had constant winds coming out of the northwest, straight down from the Arctic, 20 to 22 mile per hour, constant, just hammering the north side of the house. And my house is old. Yeah, it stood up pretty good. I got to give the old girl credit. I didn't think she would. She's always been a little drafty when the harsh winds blow. But overall, she did well. And for the most part, let's say 90% of our pipes did not freeze. Now I did have one line freeze. It runs along the northern wall and supplies the only outside faucet I got. And it's all insulated outside and back into the foundation somewhat. But it would freeze, as I would find out on Christmas Eve afternoon. No, I just didn't leave it running like so many people left not only their faucets not dripping, but a small steady stream as well as their outdoor faucets. I knew what was going to happen, and it did happen. Every water system that I can tell you throughout this area, including our own here in Tallahassee, which never ran totally out of water, but came dangerously close, and they issued a statement telling us to conserve, or we would be. But the surrounding ones, like our Wall Street Water Authority that supplies the county here in my county, Tallapoosa, this side of the river, cities like Reeltown, Nogsoga, and such, they ran slap out. So there's no water more to give. And of course, the flow stopped, and you can imagine what happened then. Yep. And we finally thawed out, or at least here I did, and I guess most of Tallahassee did, late yesterday afternoon, because I came back out and checked this outdoor faucet. and it was flowing, but not very well. About 25% of its normal. And I was grateful it was unfrozen, but I was extremely worried that now, because of the light flow, it may have been busted. So yeah, I ran in the house, checked the flow on all the faucets, which none of the house water froze. And that was because I've heated my crawl space. I came up with an idea when, I have a large floor furnace that heats the back of the house. Well, this was the year that floor furnace decided it didn't have another year in it. Of course, it was only 75 years old. It's been extremely reliable, and it sits down in the floor. It's an updraft. Chemical thermostat, requires no power. And just running it to keep the back of the house warm has always been enough to also heat the crawl space and not have a worry. But a day or two prior to this coming in, when I tried to light it, the gas valve was totally locked up. They don't make things like they used to. I mean, who would have known it would only last 75 years? Yeah. So that was one of two of my heating systems down, and one that was crucial. So I had to make a decision, what to do underneath the house. And I thought about putting a space heater under there, unattended. I didn't think that was a good idea. So I went up. I have a dryer vent. I have a gas dryer. This is something for you to bear in mind too. Also, for auxiliary heat. And I went up, disconnected my vent to my dryer, and positioned it so the hot air from the dryer, when I ran it, would run across my piping system and also heat the entire crawl space. They put out a lot of heat. The dryers are anywhere from 18,000 to 22,000 BTUs. Yeah, rather significant. My front gas heater is only 30,000. To put that in perspective. And I've done that before. Because temperature-wise, this is not the most extreme. In 2002, January of that year, we got down to 0. And that was right after a severe ice storm came. So not only was it the recorded low ever in Tallahassee, but most of the area was without power, and would be for days, some for weeks. And because I had gas heat that requires no electricity, I had a house full of people. Some I didn't know very well. Yeah, that was a long few days. But we got through it, and I did all I could. But yeah, we made it. The kiddies made it. And that, like I say, my only worry was this outdoor faucet, which did unfreeze. And as I worried and stressed over that, the remainder of Christmas Eve into the early evening hours, and I was hoping that my pipe wasn't busted. It was just the system pressure was so low, because everybody else's pipes were unthawing and many were broken. And come to find out, unfortunately, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, that was the case. And as soon as the system caught up, as the city went around shutting down water mains, my system pressure went right back to normal. Praise God. Yeah, because it's a miracle in my mind. Well, there's Spooky checking out my outdoor faucet. And this is it, the only one I got right here on the northeast corner. And the whole problem is it's extremely hard to get to. I mean, the crawl space under there, underneath the floor joist, probably is less than 1.5 feet. So had it broke, it's been extremely difficult to repair. But like I say, it's insulated. Yeah, I even wrapped another towel all around it. But not just that. It's got 1-inch foam insulation around it, all taped up. And it has frozen one time before, and it didn't bust. So I've been lucky twice. Neither time did it freeze here in the outside, because I took my towel off it and took the little cover off the end, and a few drips of water came out of the spigot and it was wet up inside. My thought is it froze where it runs through the block foundation. So that's got to be addressed finally. But I will say this, when I came here and first moved in, that outdoor faucet didn't even have any insulation. It's just bare copper pipe. Never had been insulated. So that should tell you something. But something's changed. You know, I guess we're having more of these extreme cold weather events. You know, we had another one back in 2010. It didn't get down as low as it did this time, which we got down to, I think 11 degrees one morning, 12 another, 14 another, 15, 21 this morning. Yep. And you can see the cabbages survived, the kale survived, even at those temperatures. Just a little note there. Depending on where you live, what can survive these vicious temperatures. Now our wind chill was single digits. And like I say, that was part of the issue. The wind chill, made it hard on the kitties. But they were fine. They had their little warming station. And they were all in there, snug as a bug and toasty. Yeah. And once the temperature got so low, even when I came out to check on them, they didn't want to come out and see me. Spooky just poke his head out and go, "You need to go in, Papa." But my sweet peas, they didn't make the trip. Nope, they won't survive those temperatures. They survived as low as 24. You know, the freeze we got in November, which here again was rather unusual. The collard greens right here, they've survived. And yeah, even though they'll survive during the heart of winter, you're not going to see a whole lot of growth. Not much at all. The smaller ones, like this one here, got a little bit burnt. But the bigger ones didn't. A little patch of turnip greens, well, it still got some life, but it got burnt too. Of course, the peppers, the tomatoes, most of which died when we had that cold snap in November, down to 24. Hey, Mr. Gray, Spooky, is that you, Speedy? There's 3 of them. I don't know where Cleo's at. She was here for lunch. Now she's off gallivanting. And you can see they're just fine. Looking good they are. All nice and poofy. Bless you, Mr. Gray. I'm sort of the same way. Got the sniffles. All my vehicles fared well. And like I say, we got one more night. They say 26. Of course, that's what they said this morning would be. Yeah, I'm glad I went ahead and did my rotation. And you might wonder what that is. Well, I set an alarm for every 2 to 3 hours, depending on just how brutally cold it is. During the worst of this, it was every 2 hours. And I snuggle up on the couch with my heated throw. And then, when that alarm goes off, I get up and I start that dryer. Yeah, I run around and check all the water. Make sure everything's still able to run. And some things I'll tell you that I've seen, well, they bit me in the years past. You know, people forget about their washer. Cycling it. No way to really keep it dripping. But, you know, you can run some water for a minute, shut it off. So I was doing that too. The other thing that gets people is they forget about their toilets. Here again, there's hardly no way to just keep them trickling. So I'd also go flush the toilet a few times, bring some water in from underground level, which would be warmer. I'd lay back down again, set my alarm for 2 hours, put me on some TV. I've been binge watching Magnum P.I. Never got to watch it when it was on network because I worked. So hey, it's all brand new to me. Not such a bad show, you know. I've been enjoying it. I thought I would sleep some in between those alarms, but that rarely happened. You know, over the course of a night, I might, you know, get me 45 minutes, maybe an hour overall, because I was so anxious and stressed that I might oversleep that cell phone alarm. Yep. And that, my friends and family, would have been bad. And you can see the kiddies are playing Spooky and Speedy as normal. Life is good. Yep, I've got a little bit up in the window. She's destroyed the plastic. In fact, there's both her and Gracie. Yep. But this is all brought to my mind. You know, I got through this one. The next 10 days, we're supposed to be up in the mid to high 50s, all the way to the 70s. With mid to high 50s in the evening. Yeah, I got to get under this house if I can find the stuff to do it. You know, like that pipe insulation and what have you. And get her done. As painful it's going to be. Got to get done because something we all need to think about. This is just the beginning of winter. Our worst is normally in January and February. So, have we seen the worst? Or was just this a precursor to what's to come in 2023? So, y'all, that's the situation here. And I'm sure I look rough because I'm wore out. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't do nothing special for Christmas. Really just didn't feel in the mood, all things considered, and that. I spent most of yesterday, or the better part of many hours, first talking to my son, James, and then I had a surprise. My daughter Ashley called. It's been a while since I've talked to her. And we must have talked 3 hours. That was a joy. And I nearly talked to my son 3 hours too. Those are probably the 2 most precious Christmas gifts I was given or could have asked for. I'd love to see them, but that's life. I'm sure many of you may have spent your holiday season, Christmas at home, maybe with just your spouse or your furry friends. Those of you who had a house full of family and friends, never discourage that. Enjoy it all the years you can, because one day it too will go away. And I want to hear at the last, and I've thought a little long and hard about this. I had a friend. He was an internet friend. He was a fellow creator. His name's Sean Wheeler. And he had the channel, and many of you, if you watch certain preparedness channels, preppers, which I do from time to time, his channel was North Shore Preparedness. And he was a moderator on a lot of the big name channels, like Pinball and others. He frequented my channel a lot. In fact, the last live he would ever do would be all about me too. I was so honored. But Sean, North Shore, passed away Saturday on Christmas Eve. And I'm bringing it up just in case some of y'all, my viewers, friends and family, followed Sean too. He was a good man. He'd give you the shirt off his back. He didn't have much. Worked all his life. And he lived in a small apartment up in Ontario, Canada. Not sure how he died or what caused it. Some say it was a heart attack. But he went to God on Christmas Eve. He'll be sorely missed in the preparedness community. I talked to him not only via the internet and YouTube and lives, but also by phone. And I felt his loss today as well. I didn't find out till 6:30 this morning as I continued my routine. So, there's always the shiny side, folks. And then, as I often say, there's the grimy side. We got to remember in life, you've got the good, you've got the bad. You got the light, and you got the dark. You got happiness, and you got sadness. And to enjoy the happiness, I've always thought you had to also experience the sadness. To enjoy the goodness in your life and realize how good you may have it, you've had to really experience the worst times and lowest times in your life, or we just start taking things for granted. Yeah, and life has a way when we take things for granted. We're coming up and slapping us beside the head and making us realize what we had could always be taken away, and life could become much worse. So I hope you enjoyed your Christmas day, and I hope you were able to spend it with your family, friends. You had an amazing meal, opened gifts, and celebrated the season. And I do hope you have a Happy New Year. And I will hope, as I will pray, 2023 will be better than this. So hey, I got to get on in. It's getting close to kitty feeding time. Just got to start preparing their meal. Warm it up a little bit. Maybe you do that too. So they'll have something hot to eat as well. So hey, until I, Spooky, Speedy, Mr. Gray, Cleo, and sometimes Heathcliff, and of course, Gracie and Lilybit too. See you on that next video. Y'all take care. Stay safe. And God bless you as you bless others in your lives. Goodbye for now. Yep, I'm coming, Spooky, Speedy. You guarding the door for me? Or y'all still gonna play? Yep. Oh, I see you in there, Gracie and Lilybit. Y'all got the window all messed up. Tore my plastic. Got all kinds of lick marks all over it. Yep, you do. Gracie, is Lilybit cleaning you up? Do you need a bath? Oh God, they're a mess. Anyway, y'all, this one's done. Later.